The sound it made when it hit the trash can was small but sharp, a dull thud, followed by the crack of glass. That was my anniversary gift. The one I'd spent weeks working on, sanding, painting, and sealing by hand. I'd carved her favorite quote into the frame, "You are my forever, even when I forget how to say it." She stood over it, her arms crossed, her expression unreadable except for the faint curl of disgust at the corner of her mouth. "I don't want handmade junk," she said flatly. "You could have at least bought something real." Something real. I stared at the frame lying crooked inside the trash, paint flecked with specks of onion skin and coffee grounds. My throat tightened. "It is real," I said softly. "I made it for you." She rolled her eyes and turned away. "That's exactly the problem. You think effort is enough. It's not." Her tone was cold, practiced, almost rehearsed. And in that moment, something shifted in me, a quiet, painful recognition that I didn't know this woman anymore. That night, she barely spoke. She scrolled through her phone during dinner, smiling at something she didn't share with me. The candle I lit melted into itself, forgotten. I tried to pretend I didn't see the name lighting up her screen. Ryan. It happened again the next morning. Her phone buzzed while she showered. Another message from Ryan. "Last night was perfect. You looked amazing." My heart slammed against my ribs. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. The message was enough to gut me. When she came out wrapped in a towel, humming to herself, I couldn't look at her the same way. "You have plans tonight?" I asked, trying to sound casual. She hesitated just a second too long. "Yeah. Dinner with some friends." "Anyone I know?" "Probably not," she said, and left it there. I smiled, but it felt like my face was cracking. That day crawled by like a punishment. At work, I kept seeing her face when she said handmade junk. I kept hearing Ryan's message in my head. Last night was perfect. By the time she came home that evening, dressed too nicely for just friends, I'd already made up my mind. "Want me to drop you off?" I asked. She froze, the faintest flicker of guilt flashing across her face before she smoothed it away. "No need. I'll get a ride." I nodded. "Okay." But after she left, I followed. It wasn't hard. I knew her habits too well. The way she'd always check her lipstick in the car mirror, the places she liked to park far from the restaurant entrance so she could freshen up before going in. I kept my headlights low, my distance careful. My pulse thudded in my ears. She pulled into the parking lot of a quiet Italian place, the kind with string lights and soft music leaking through open windows. And then I saw him. Ryan. He was leaning against his car, smiling that easy, confident smile. When she stepped out, his face lit up in a way that twisted something deep in my gut. She didn't hesitate. She walked straight into his arms. They hugged like they'd done it before. I sat there, frozen, my hands gripping the steering wheel so hard they ached. Every part of me wanted to storm over, demand an explanation, shout, cry, something. But all I did was sit and watch through the windshield, the truth playing out like a cruel film. After a few minutes, they went inside. I followed on foot, stopping just outside the entrance, where I could see them through the window. She was laughing, really laughing, the way she used to with me. When the waiter poured wine, she leaned in close to Ryan, her hand brushing his. He didn't pull away. Neither did she. It felt like someone was twisting a knife inside me, slow and deliberate. I stayed until the dessert arrived. That's when I couldn't take it anymore. I walked back to my car, sat in the dark, and tried to breathe. It was raining by the time I got home. Her frame, my gift, was still in the trash. The ink from the carved quote had begun to run, the words bleeding into each other. I pulled it out, wiped it clean, and set it on the table. I don't know why. Maybe I needed a reminder of what we used to be. When she came home hours later, she smelled of wine and perfume. Her hair was messy, her lipstick faded. "You're still up?" she said, surprised. "Yeah," I said quietly. "How was dinner?" She hesitated. "Good. Just friends catching up." I nodded slowly. "Ryan." Her face went pale. "What?" "I saw you," I said. "At the restaurant." For a moment, she didn't move. Then she laughed, a brittle, nervous sound. "You're being paranoid." I met her eyes. "You hugged him." Silence. Then she whispered, "You followed me." "Would I have needed to if you'd been honest?" Her shoulders slumped, and the mask cracked. "It's not what you think." "It's exactly what I think," I said. Tears welled in her eyes. "I didn't mean for it to happen." "Then why did it?" She sank onto the couch, covering her face. "Because I was lonely. Because you stopped trying. Because every time I looked at you, I saw a man who'd already given up." Her words hit me harder than I expected. Maybe because there was truth buried inside them. But still, nothing justified this. I walked over to the table and picked up the frame. "I made this for you," I said. "Every cut, every line, my hands did that. And you threw it away." She looked up, eyes glistening. "I know. I was angry. I thought if I could hurt you first, it wouldn't hurt so much when you finally stopped loving me." I stared at her, stunned. "You were waiting for me to stop." She nodded weakly. "I didn't think you noticed me anymore." The words hung there, heavy, twisted with regret. For a long time, neither of us spoke. Rain tapped against the windows. The clock ticked too loudly. Finally, I set the frame down in front of her. "You were wrong," I said. "I never stopped noticing. I just thought you'd never leave." She reached for my hand, but I pulled back. The next morning, she was gone. No note, no message. Just silence. Weeks passed. I found out from a mutual friend that she'd moved in with Ryan. I didn't ask where. Sometimes I still think about that night. The rain, the trash can, the sound of glass breaking. I replay it, wondering if there was something I could have done differently. But love isn't a craft you can rebuild once it's shattered. Some things, once broken, don't want to be fixed. The frame still sits on my shelf, cracked but whole. The words carved into it are faint now, but I still trace them with my fingers when I can't sleep. "You are my forever," even when I forget how to say it. She forgot first. But I never did.